my channel. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing. Today we are making my meal prep for the week. I'm using a weird ingredient today and I'm just going to show you how to dress it up. I'm talking about quinoa. There it is. Right, it is an ancient grain. It replaces rice if you're tired of eating rice or couscous. It's actually a great source of complex carbs and protein. So there you go. I'm going to show you all my ingredients and then we're going to get straight into it. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, click the button. You know what to do already. Before I start, as I always tell you, wash your hands, make sure they're clean, wash your produce, wash your vegetables, and make sure everything is gesond. Now let's get started. So I'm going to show you the ingredients today actually. So you already seen the quinoa. I've just poured it into a mug like that. We're making a huge batch, and I'm also using some garlic. Then we are gonna use some simple seasoning. All the flavor is gonna come from the vegetables basically in this recipe. So for seasoning, I'm using basically salt and pepper, you guys. That's it, salt and pepper, no spices, no nothing. And then the vegetables play the main role in this recipe actually. So we are going to be using 2 peppers, a red and a yellow one, because I think it gives a better color. And I didn't include green because you'll see why just now. And I've got some button mushrooms which I've wiped down with a damp cloth. Please don't wash the mushrooms, guys, they'll just soak up water. Then I've got a spring onion here, or a salad onion as many would know it as. And then here I also have a bird's eye chili. You guys know me and chili, separated by death. And then I am going to use a red onion. A yellow onion works just as well for this recipe. And I'm going to use a stock cube, which I don't normally use, but I need it for this recipe. Yeah, it's a vegetarian one. So I'm going to reconstitute this in water, and then I'll show you guys what to do with it at a later stage. Then we just need some regular cooking oil, whatever you use to fry your things at your house, nothing fancy. Then I'm going to need a lime. You can use a lemon, only half of this. And then I'm going to be using some frozen green peas, all of that. And we're going to need obviously some boiling water, because that's what we're going to need to reconstitute our stock. So I'm going to start off by chopping the veggies. You guys already know the drill, but for some strange reason people love to see me chopping, so you guys are a weird bunch, so I'm gonna get straight into it. Chop that off, chuck it, move it away. Chop that off, chuck it, move it away. Then just cut that in half. This is a pretty small one, but it will work, you know. Okay, put that there. I just want to bring you guys closer because I feel you are far. There we go. So I'm just going to proceed and peel the onion. My eyes are already tearing up, and you just want to cut it finely, man. Just finely, like so. It doesn't really have to be perfect, but you just want everything to be chopped up nicely. So I'm going to take that away and put it aside. Take that away, put it aside. Ugh, my eyes are watering. Okay, take that aside. Then I'm going to follow that through with our breads. Actually, you want to cut this quite thinly because you don't want people to get like a huge chunk of the chili when they are biting into this mix. It's a 1-pot meal. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So this makes it great for meal prep, great for your lunch boxes. You don't have to think about it. You just scoop it and go. And that's why I love this recipe so much. I came up with this recipe myself actually, and I've been making it for quite a few years. So there you go. And then we are going to slice up our mushrooms. Okay, last mushroom. You want to cut it very roughly, guys. It absolutely does not have to be perfect. Next, our pepper. Just cut slices like so. That and like that. Okay, There's a little bit left in there. You don't want to waste anything. And you're gonna do the same with your yellow pepper. Alright, now guys, I am done. And with the spring onions, you want to cut off the white part first. These are the white bits, and that's what you're going to use really. And the green parts, don't throw them away, just keep them, because we're going to use them to garnish our dish once we are done. So yeah, we're going to start cooking now. It's as easy as that. Okay guys, there we are. I have just put about 2 tablespoons of oil in this pan of mine here. I'm using my non-stick pan here. So I'm going to just add my ingredients and then show you. This recipe is really easy guys, I cannot stress that enough. So we're going to go in with our onion first. And the chilies. So I'm just going to increase this a bit because I feel like it is not sizzling as how I would want it. So you're just gonna stir that around and let it cook. So to prevent the onions from going brown, we are going to add some salt this early in the game. You don't want to add too much salt because we are using veggie stock, which is quite salty anyway. So I would say about half a teaspoon. I know I'm using a fork, but just bear with me, okay? Just bear with me. I've made this recipe so many times. I know how much should go in, but half a teaspoon will do. And we are just going to sweat those off until they become see-through or translucent. We'll add our black pepper while we are here. You guys know the drill with my black pepper. Absolutely, 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 absolutely love it. If you guys are using white quinoa and you want this whole thing to be aesthetically pleasing, I would really recommend that you use white pepper instead of black pepper, and then you won't have those tiny speckles. But as you saw, I'm using a mixed variety, so yeah, it's fine. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add in some garlic while this is still becoming translucent. It's not altogether there yet, but it's completely fine because I want the garlic to cook in the oil with the onions like so. It's already starting to smell amazing. And you guys know my deal with garlic. Don't be shy, kill the vampires. That's 1 tablespoon and a half, I'd say. Not too much. You see, I still left a bit behind. And you are just going to gently stir this around. The garlic has water, so it's gonna sizzle and fizzle a little bit, so don't be alarmed. This is all part of it, you guys. The trick here is to season as you go and just continuously stir. It's like you're making a stir fry almost. Oh, this kitchen is so fragrant at this point. So fragrant. Like, I would hate to be my neighbor because there's always such yummy smells coming from my kitchen. So as you can see, the onion, it's really difficult to see with these red onions when it's become translucent because they're pigmented, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it, okay? They are becoming a bit translucent here. And remember, this whole thing is still gonna simmer down a whole lot, so we don't have to wait too long as well, because the garlic is really cut into small pieces, and once it burns, it becomes bitter. So I am gonna go ahead and put in the mushrooms first because I like the crunch in the peppers. If you get a few peppers in there, don't even stress about it, but I actually prefer to cook the mushrooms first. If you get a few peppers in there, just pull them out. These peppers just want to go in as well, and if you leave a few mushrooms behind, it's okay, guys, it's okay. And remember what I said about seasoning as you go. So again, maybe this time a 1/4 teaspoon of salt for the mushrooms. You season as you go, but you can always add, but you can't take away. This is a lot of mushrooms, guys. They soaked up all the oil, and I didn't use a lot of oil to begin with, but don't worry, don't be tempted to add even more oil, because once the mushrooms cook down, they're going to release some moisture, and then all that oil will do for nothing. So just stir it around like so. Take your time and just stir everything as you should. The mushrooms are shrinking down nicely. I'm gonna add more pepper in here. I feel like it got lost in the mix. More pepper. You just want to stir everything around. Things are shrinking. Remember when I put them in here, guys, the pot was full almost, and now they've shrunken down quite nicely, which is exactly what we want. We want them to cook down, and the salt on the mushrooms really helps to bring out the moisture. Can you guys see? I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm going to zoom in case you can't. And you see that? That is a lot of moisture. So imagine if you were tempted to add oil right off the gate because you thought the mushroom soaked up all the oil, and now you have all this fluid. So most people make that mistake. Don't do it. So we're gonna let these cook off. We're not in a hurry. So the mushrooms are okay, and just put your spring onions right in the middle. Let them cook together with the mix like that, and everything else goes in. The peppers you don't want to really overcook or fry. Everything through everywhere, but look at this beautiful, peaceful mixture. Don't worry about the peas at this point. We are going to add those peas in when we add the quinoa. So isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just appetizing as it is right now? Wait till we add the quinoa in. I forgot to season because I'm admiring how beautiful this is. There we go. Another quarter of a teaspoon. Remember not to add too much. You can always add, but you can't take away salt. Remember that. Be careful with your salt, especially because we are using stock. Oh, but guys, what a symphony of flavors. I could just die from these fragrances, you guys. So amazing. Cooking is so therapeutic, right? So therapeutic. Like, alright. We don't really want the peppers to get a color on them, so once they've warmed up, essentially, we are going to add in our quinoa. Just like that. Like, it's a lot of quinoa. But don't worry, we're making meal prep for the whole week, and you want the quinoa to essentially be coated. It looks like those grains used to make African beer, if you guys know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, don't worry. But it really does. It really does. But this is tricolored quinoa, and this is what it looks like. So in its beautiful glory like that, just like that. This really is a great healthier substitute for rice. So I mean, you just put this in your lunchbox and you just have this a whole week really. And you're gonna add your stock. This is literally 1 cube of stock in 300 ml of boiling water, completely dissolved, and you're just gonna bung the whole thing in, just like so. It is going to cook down until all the quinoa has absorbed the fluid. And we're not adding the peas in yet. We are going to close the pot, bring this temperature down to a simmer, and then once the quinoa has absorbed most of this fluid, then we add the peas, because essentially the peas are already cooked. You don't want them to change color. That's what happens when you overcook peas. So what you want to do is put a cloche on it and leave it for 20 minutes. So there we are, guys. At this stage, we are then going to add in our frozen peas and mix everything well. And if you're making this for your kids, please omit the chilies because I know kids are very sensitive with heat. But yeah, this is basically it. We're gonna simmer it down again for about 10 minutes or until the water is gone. Just lower down your heat. This is very important. I'm putting my stove at 2 now. Now we are gonna go in with our freshly squeezed lime. You wanna roll it on your counter before, and this one has no seeds in it, so I don't run that risk. I think I'm gonna use the other half actually. Squeeze the life out of it. Squeeze all of that in there. If you don't have limes, use lemons, you know. We are just after that acidity. As you can see, most of the liquid has been absorbed in here. So we're just gonna wait until it's all gone, like so. And we're gonna push this up so you guys can see how awesome this really is. So as you can see, it is done. There's no more fluid left, and we are just going to scoop all of this up like so. Show you how amazing this is. As you can see, there's really no fluid left in there. And then we are going to grab, this is to eat right now, but we are going to grab some spring onions. And we are basically going to garnish it like so. And there you go. It's really simple. It's done. And enjoy it, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me just clean this up. But yeah, thank you for watching. That's what it looks like. It is absolutely delicious, and I will see you guys for my next recipe. Remember, if it's vegetarian, it's easy. Bye, guys.